Whilst I'm not overall impressed with the initial lineup of video games on the Nintendo Switch 2, I am very excited for upcoming games on the system later on in this year and 2026. Also, please leave a comment down below telling me what games you are excited for and why. FYI, I'm still in hospital, so sorry about the quality of the video. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Starting with the obvious, we have a follow-up to the disappointing Pokémon Legends Arceus, and it's ZA, not ZA, which looks amazing on the Nintendo Switch 2. With improved graphics, animations, and it also looks like ZA has an even better story than Pokémon Legends Arceus, in the sense of Arceus had a really good story, but just didn't really tell it very well. There seems to be more of a focus on story in ZA, which I'm really excited to see. I'm also happy that they added some much needed colour to the video game compared to Arceus, which had a sort of noughties, high saturated, sort of gloomy look to it. Speaking of Arceus, if you want to see my review for the game, the link is in the bio below because I don't know how to annotate links onto the screen yet. If anybody wants to show me, let me know. Seeing the performance of this game compared to the Nintendo Switch 1 will be very interesting, as most games towards the end of this system's lifespan have struggled on the performance side. You know, there's been a lot of slowdown, glitches here and there, so it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. Just because developers keep trying to push the system to the limit of what it can do, and we've reached the limit. We've got to the point where we're trying to do what the system can't do. Next up, we have another obvious one. It is Metroid Prime 4. My introduction to Metroid Prime was actually on the GameCube on my birthday, like 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago, blimey, I'm old. And I've loved Metroid ever since. However, Metroid Prime is a 3D game, and Metroid traditionally is 2D. I didn't complete a 2D Metroid game until lockdown, when I played Metroid Zero Mission on my Game Boy Micro, and blimey, that's now one of my most favourite games of all time. It's in the list. I should make a video of my list actually, shouldn't I? So yes, I'm extremely excited for Metroid Prime 4 on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's just a shame they didn't remaster Metroid Prime 2 and 3 leading up to this release. It seems a bit odd, really. At number 3, we have a game that sounds more like a game show than a video game platformer. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza, the latest game in the Donkey Kong series, which we think is being developed by the same team behind Super Mario Odyssey, my favourite Super Mario game, which overtook Super Mario World, which is crazy, being 35 and having new favourite games. I've never actually played a Donkey Kong game aside from Donkey Konga and the original arcade classic. The original arcade classic actually is also one of my favourite games, to the point I even have a money box of the game, which I'm showing you here right now. It's wicked cool. If you want to see the endless loop of that video, link in the bio. I will likely do a review of this game, and it will likely be whilst I'm still in hospital as well. Next up, at number 4, we have Drag X Drive. I was excited about this game before I ended up in a wheelchair without any legs, and now being excited about the game just feels more appropriate as I'm still adjusting to my life. Drag X Drive is essentially Rocket League in a wheelchair. Well, that's how I view it anyway. It looks awesome, you're in a wheelchair, you're playing basketball. I just hope there's an option to play the game without the mouse controls, because I just kind of want to sit back on the sofa with a traditional controller and play a couple rounds online and have some fun. I don't like the idea of having to sit at a desk and use the controller. There's been mixed opinions on how well these controllers work. You're doing it on jeans or on the sofa, and to be honest, doing it like that sounds like it's going to damage the controller as well. So I want to avoid that. So yeah, I'd rather play the game with a Pro controller on the sofa rather than at a desk pretending I'm in a wheelchair. And finally, at number 5, it's reasonable to think I'd go for the From Software vampire game. However, I'm just not interested in playing a Souls-like game where the USP is making games difficult for the sake of making video games difficult. It's just counterintuitive to me. It just doesn't sound fun. And then there's also Kirby Air Riders, which is like, there's just not enough information about the game for me to be interested. And I never played the original game on the GameCube either, so I don't really have any connection to the series. So I don't even really know what to expect. I'm hoping the original game gets released on GameCube Virtual Console eventually, so I can give it a go then. But until then, I don't care. The game I'm going for is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, the ultimate game series for relaxing. Sitting back with a Pro controller, just killing waves upon waves of enemies whilst heavy metal rock music plays in the background. That is awesome. 2025 for the Nintendo Switch 2 is oddly quiet, but I think next year is going to be very, very exciting for the system. Maybe a sequel to Astral Chain, maybe we'll get a new IP, who knows? But anyway, thanks for watching, catch you on a flip-flop. Bye!